Listen, I get it. Rudy's controversial. I understand that. I get that right now Rudy Gobert is, for better or for worse, he is the talk of the basketball universe here in Utah. Rudy versus Don. Rudy's demanding a trade. It's him or me. All this nonsense. And then Shaq made a little comment the other day that Rudy replied to, and they had their back and forth. And then Skip Bayless started talking about Rudy Gobert. I know, and this is
Jesus.
Listen again, and I take credit for a lot of the bad things I do to the world. It is my fault that Skip Bayless is on TV. Who gave Skip Bayless his first shot in TV?
You did.
Me. You're welcome. So who gave Stephen A. Smith his first shot in TV? Me. You're welcome. We booked them all on the Jim Rome show at Fox Sports. My bad. Skip Bayless is a dumpster fire of hot crap every day.
Yes.
He's not on ESPN anymore.
No, he's on
somewhere.
Fox.
He's on Fox.
Undisputed.
Okay. Yeah, I've never watched that show. It is terrible. I can't do it. But he did say this about Rudy Gobert.
You gotta wake up, you gotta wise up, and you gotta shut up and give it up because you are nothing but a finesse defender. You are a fake tough guy. Yeah. I'm sorry because I see too many drivers of the basketball who are 6'2". They just go right up into you.
And dunk on you.
I don't know what you're thinking. I know you got to sort of defend your honor social media, but you are barking up the biggest, wrongest tree you've ever barked up on this one.
It's
okay,
painful.
Sharp's laugh ruins the whole thing.
Oh, that's right. That is Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
That show is painful.
Brutal, bro.
I mean, and listen, again, I get it. I understand why Fox does it. It's sensationalism. But Rudy Gobert reacted to that comment very poorly. He got on social media. He attacked Skip Bayless. Rudy said to Skip, hey, there's only a couple people on earth who can talk to me like that, and you're not one of them. Would you be such a tough guy if you were standing right here in front of me? Inferring that if he was standing in front of Rudy and he said that Rudy would kick his ass. And I just got to say, Rudy Gobert, don't do this, please. Like, I may not agree with all of the things that Rudy does on the basketball floor or his contract, but Rudy Gobert, by all accounts, has always been a decent person. When you lower yourself to this level, there's nothing good that comes of it. Skip Bayless is a bottom feeder.
Yeah.
He's a guy who says things for sensationalism's sake to draw viewers to the TV. That's his job, and he's really good at it.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert's got to stay above this fray. Be better than this. All this does, in my opinion, Jake, is bring Rudy down to Skip Bayless's level.
Yeah, and I think, and this is what we said on the show yesterday, I think Rudy has to do a better job of just understanding that this is the media cycle, and this is, frankly, this is what happens when the trade rumor mill begins. And I think that Shaq is amazing at what he does as well, because what Shaq understands is that because he is Shaq, he can basically say whatever he wants to say about anybody, because who's going to stop him? Who would have stopped him on the floor? And that's the biggest thing. It's not about having a street fight in the parking lot, with Miles Turner earlier in the year. It's not about telling Shaq that you'd lock his ass up or that Skip can't talk to you that way. I got news for you. Skip can say whatever the hell he wants, right? Like, Shaq can say whatever the hell he wants, just like Rudy can say whatever the hell he wants. The difference is that Rudy comes out looking silly because of the comments, right or wrong. That's how this game works. So like I said yesterday, and I'll keep maintaining it, what Rudy should be doing is trolling these guys in a positive way. He should be saying, hey, Skip, thanks for talking about me. Even though nobody heard you on your show, thanks for talking about me, or something like that. Like take a jab, be positive about it, and play along. Like, that's what you should be doing in this situation. Or, I know, you could say nothing at all, because I got news for you. What's the difference between you and Kevin Durant right now? What's the difference between you and anybody else who goes on Twitter and loses their mind and has a super, thin skin? There's no difference, dude. You're the same guy. So that's why I say we can rip Kevin Durant. We can rip, LeBron or anybody else who goes on Twitter. I'm telling you, Rudy Gobert is now in that bunch, and it's unfortunate. I don't think that Rudy needed to be here. And really, to be quite honest with you, and maybe this is a bit extreme, tell me if I'm wrong, but I, in my personal opinion, feel like this goes all the way back to the COVID touching all the microphones thing. This is that same antic where you didn't like what people were saying, so you did something, and then you got ripped for it. Like, that's the same kind of ideology, the same kind of behavior out of Rudy.
Well, and I think it just exposes Rudy Gobert for being thin-skinned. And I think that there is a certain level of sensitivity that we're seeing in Rudy Gobert that I just don't think is good for him. And, you know, Rudy Gobert doesn't watch this show, but if Rudy Gobert ever hears my words on this, forget that Twitter exists. Forget that Instagram exists, because it's hurting you. It's not helping you.
Yeah.
And all anybody is doing right now is talking about Rudy Gobert in the negative. And at this moment in time, Rudy Gobert just needs to be invisible.
Yeah.
Right? Like the green hair and all that stuff, that's fun. That's what I want to see from Rudy Gobert in the offseason. I'm happy to see
I want to see
beekeeping.
pictures with your mom, dude.
Yeah, like that's the cool stuff about Rudy. Like he is a heartful, you know, like he's actually a really nice guy. Like he is a heartful, caring individual. But you can't put yourself down in the mud with the likes of Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
And that's all this did. And whether you were joking or not, and there is quite a bit of conjecture about whether this is serious, or I think it's 100% serious.
Yeah.
I'm with you. If I'm Rudy Gobert, I'm like, wow, Skip, you're the best at what you do. Thanks so much for talking about me. This is amazing. Hey, Shaq, you know what? I'd have beat that ass if you and I were playing against each other. But man, I have so much respect for your game. Like, just have fun with it.
You have to understand the game. That's the thing. You got to understand what you can't forget these guys are paid to do this. Like, maybe not Shaq. Like, obviously Shaq is kind of the outlier because Shaq can say pretty much whatever he wants, as I was just talking about. But like Skip Bayless, as you were just saying, is literally paid a salary to be in the news cycle, to say things that get attention, that people react to, like us. That's his job. That's what he gets paid to do. So what do you think he's going to say when he gets wind of, hey, Shaq talked a bunch of junk about Rudy, and Rudy didn't appreciate it? That is perfect for Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. Like, it's perfect, you know? So that's why I say it's just it's just unfortunate that Rudy reacted this way. But the other thing I think we have to note, since we love to do this in the Jazz community, where's Donovan Mitchell been? Anybody heard anything out of Don lately? I haven't heard anything out of Don.
But that's what I would expect from Donovan Mitchell.
Precisely.
You know what I've seen from Donovan Mitchell on social, and I follow Rudy on Twitter and Insta. I follow Don on Twitter and Insta. What I've seen from Donovan Mitchell is Donovan at Mets games. I've seen Donovan in Philly at Mets games. Donovan in Philly at the Heat game, because don't forget, Donovan wants to go play for the Heat.
That's a perfect example.
Right?
Don could have come out and commented on that.
But he didn't. You see Donovan working out. You see, like, this is not the time to be attacking people on social media. And Rudy, I think Rudy Gobert is one of the most misunderstood guys because of shit like this. I think Rudy does damage to his brand. If we are sitting here on this show talking about Rudy Gobert in a negative light, if we're sitting here on this show wondering if he was serious or not, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way to really look at this. If we have to wonder if you were serious or if this was real, it's not a good thing. And I don't know where Rudy Gobert is a year from now. My guess is he's not a Jazz man anymore. But what I know is Rudy Gobert has to lay in bed at night and think about this stuff.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, it's not positive thinking. If Rudy Gobert really is attacking Skip Bayless, this is no different than Rudy Gobert going after guys on the floor talking about, you know, hey, we can step outside.
No, dude, you're not that guy.
Rudy,
dude.
you're not that guy.
You're not
That's
that
not
guy.
who.
Outside. How about that?
That's not who you are, man. Like, it's basketball. When Miles Turner comes after you, it's basketball, man.
Yeah.
We're not having a street fight outside.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Are you really going to kick Skip Bayless's ass if he's standing in front of you? You're not. Why are you in? It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Is there You know.
Oh
like,
yeah, we have some audio from Rudy.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot
you
about this.
completely
Excuse me.
forgot that.
My
Yeah,
bad.
you forgot, dude.
So this
Come
is
on.
an exclusive interview that Rudy Gobert gave us as a quote. Here's Rudy Gobert, just voicing his opinions on Skip Bayless.
I need respect. When you show me respect and stop writing trashy articles about me, then I'll show you respect. I'm a man. Listen, I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to waste my life, because when I die, I'm going to paradise. And I'm not worried, so I'm in a hurry to die. But no one's going to disrespect me, and no one's going to write nonsense about me without me retaliating back. I'm a man, and I can only take so much, and I'm not going to sit back and take so much punishment. I'm a human being, and I need love just like everyone else. You can't talk about me and disrespect me. I have children, too.
Wow.
Rudy, chill, bro.
Man.
Damn. Wow.
But we were joking. That's obviously Mike Tyson losing his shit on Jim Gray.
But no one's going to disrespect me.
But we were talking this morning about this story in the vaunted, secretive, very private CIA-like pre-show meeting.
Yeah.
And that's what came to mind. Rudy Gobert, when we were talking about his level of anger that appeared to be in writing on social yesterday.
I'm not afraid to die.
That's what came to mind. Like Mike Tyson losing his mind in a boxing ring is what came to mind. And I'm just telling you, man, that's not who you are, Rudy. You are not that guy.
Yeah, man.
Like, don't roll around in the mud. All right, let's see what you guys think about this, because I honestly think this is a pretty big deal. This is a very telling thing. John Jackson says, "Good morning, my friends." No, John. Good morning to you.
How about that?
Donovan Bettison says Trey Gobert. Maybe. Mitchell Harding. What's up, Mitchell? Good to see you. Morning, fellas. How y'all going? We're going well.
Yeah.
We're going well. Hopefully the same for you. Funky Orion says good morning. Tanner Plummer
Yeah.
says morning, guys. May the 11th be with you always. Exactly. See, he picked up on it.
Yeah.
He
right.
what I did to open.
May the 11th. And
You know.
right. Yeah.
Hey, Greg Hawkins. By the way, everybody. Happy birthday, Greg Hawkins, you stud.
It's his birthday.
I saw on social, I believe yesterday was Greg Hawkins'
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, King. Tanner says, is Rudy Gobert soft? Is that a trick question? Of course he is. Greg Hawkins says, Stephen A. Smith is great for the memes. He is. John Jackson says, wow, I didn't know you had these feelings about Skip, but I enjoy Stephen A. Why the hate towards them? Like, I just think there's so much that those guys say that is just so far out of left field.
Yeah.
And so completely, contrived, created to make sensationalism, to make people watch. The problem with Skip, and really I think more to the point, the problem with Stephen A. is I don't think he believes half the shit he says.
Yeah.
I just don't think he believes it because it's so ridiculous, in my opinion, to say some of the things that Skip Bayless has said. Like, I just can't even imagine
the thing that bothers me is that, but like if you really compare it, like on our show, what we're trying to do is we're trying to have genuine conversations about the Jazz and about like things going on in the sports world. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to have, oh, well, hot take this and hot take that and light this guy up and light that guy up. That's really not what we're trying to do. But those guys, I can't emphasize this enough. And this is kind of the issue I have. It's not personal. Like, I'm not saying that Skip Bayless is a bad guy, but I don't really have a lot of respect for the shows like Skip or like the Stephen A's or it's like First Take with Stephen A and Max Kellerman. Like, these shows, they're literally paid to say things and come up with things that will get them in the news cycle. The JJ Redick versus Stephen A. Smith thing. ESPN loves that, dude. ESPN loves it. And that's why I say, if you're Rudy Gobert, you got to understand that. You got to understand that these guys are paid to say things. He's not personally attacking you and saying he's going to do all this bad stuff to you. He's coming up with a take that he knows will be in the news cycle. So that's why I say, that's why the question says, is Rudy soft? Yes, I do think he's soft. And it's no disrespect. I just think that's like his demeanor. That's how he feels and goes about things, Yeah. And so to the commenter's question, like, no, it's not that we hate on those shows, but I just don't have a lot of a lot of respect for that type of show. I have respect for shows where it's like, okay, like we're talking about this. It could be something as obscure as like figure skating, as long as you have an opinion on it that is backed up by some sort of
but look, it's not even anything that's obscure as figure skating. We're not on the show, performing brain surgery. We're here to have conversations, to laugh a little bit, to have fun a little bit. Like, that's all this show is. Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith are trying to perform sports brain surgery, when all you need to do on a daily basis is talk about the headlines. At ESPN, they're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers every day until Aaron Rodgers decides he's going to play in Green Bay. They're going to talk about Tom Brady every day. Like, they play the hits. That's all you have to do in this business.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing wrong with that. But when Rudy Gobert lowers himself and becomes the story, when Rudy Gobert creates the story, that's a problem. You're better than this, man. And I'm begging Rudy Gobert to just stay out of this nonsense.
Donnie, you're out of your element.
Yes, let people talk about you. There's nothing wrong with that. But just don't care. And I know I say this all the time, but the moment that you stop caring what other people think about what you're doing and who you are, it offers you freedom that money can't buy. But Rudy Gobert doesn't seem to understand that. He just does not seem to understand that. Tanner says, Monty, are you also the reason Shannon Sharpe is on TV? No, I am not the one who lit that dumpster on fire. I am not. And Garcia, good morning too. He says, Stephen A. is a damn fool. Rudy Sanchez says, morning, fellas. Is this the reason why Gobert's teammates have problems with him? Yeah. I think that this is part and parcel of who Rudy Gobert can be in the locker room. And the issues that he had with calling teammates out this year and relationships in the locker room, I think this is part of that. I just think that this is one of those things where you can't quantify how people feel in their minds.
Yeah.
Like you can't, nobody knows what Rudy Gobert really thinks. Nobody knows if Rudy thought this was a joke. I hope it was. I hope he was kidding. Maybe, if I'm his agent or his PR people, I am giving him social media training. Like, that's got to happen.
Yeah.
You're making $41 million a year. You're arguably the best defensive player in the NBA. Why do you care what Shannon Sharpe or Skip Bayless say? Shaq is totally different. I would care what Shaq says. I would engage with Shaq. I'd do an interview with Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
That's pushing your brand. Laugh about it. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at Terrence Mann dunking on you.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? You're making $41 million. They're not. Laugh at it. Right? Like, Rudy Gobert just appears to me to be the guy that takes himself way too seriously. And when it's Kevin Durant. When you're so concerned about the Twitterverse and what fans are saying about you that you create burner accounts, I'm telling you now, you're doing it wrong.
And she took offense.
You don't get it. Twitter is a troll's kingdom.
Yes.
Like,
it is a wasteland.
You just can't care what people think. It's why I don't respond to 99.9% of people on Twitter. I don't answer 99.9% of the DMs I get.
Yes.
Because it's just not worth your time or energy.
Yeah.
It really isn't. And I just don't care what other people think. And I'm telling you, the minute that you do that is the minute that you gain freedom. Birdman says he doesn't fit with Mitchell. I don't know if that's... I tend to agree that if I were the Utah Jazz, I would trade Rudy Gobert. And it has, again, almost nothing to do with what he does on the floor. It's the contract.
And I think that was the other part that everyone's missing on what Shaq said. I think everyone's fixated on, Shaq talking about the fact that he would dominate Rudy, but nobody is talking about the fact that Shaq was like, hey, 3 years ago I said that these two are not a championship duo, and I think that potentially, and again, I'm surmising, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
We don't have facts behind it, but I think if, not knowing Rudy, but watching his actions, like, I think that is what may have dug into Rudy a bit more and pushed him to respond, because he's like Shaq saying that's major shade coming from Shaq. I mean, this is Shaquille O'Neal we're talking about, the best big ever, the most dominant offensive player ever. Like, if someone said that to you, it would probably be a little frustrating. But I agree with you. Rudy needs to have some self-control, especially because you're making 40 plus a year. I mean, it just comes with the territory.
Yeah, I don't understand the need. Is need the right way? I don't understand the need to police Twitter. I've never understood it. It's, we're going to talk about Donald Trump coming back to Twitter in a bit, but this is the problem with guys like Rudy Gobert, guys like Donald Trump, guys like Kevin Durant, who are soft mentally. And, I don't want to have a basketball conversation about Rudy Gobert because in the parameters of this discussion, it doesn't matter. Rudy Gobert is soft mentally. That's what this is. That's the narrative being written about him through this incident.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's true or not. Nobody knows Rudy Gobert well. I mean, but this is the issue you have when you're Rudy Gobert. Perception is always going to be reality.
Correct.
And the perception is that Rudy Gobert is mentally soft.
Well, and I think that comes from the floor, and that's the toughest part about it. Like, I think the difference between Rudy and Kevin Durant is obviously Kevin Durant is a generational player, and when you look at Rudy, the spats that he gets into, whether it's with Desmond in Miami, whether it's with Miles Turner, whether it's with Bismack Biyombo, whether any of these guys, like Rudy, like true tough guys and true guys that just don't care, are not going to get into some spat with you. They're gonna beat you up, and it just is what it is, and it just depends how you react to that.
But here's the thing that I struggle with. In a basketball conversation, why does Rudy Gobert care if somebody dunks on him? He blocks more shots than he
I think
gets
that's all he
dunked on.
has. That's all he has. He doesn't have another way to affect the game.
But that's a very good point. He doesn't have another way to impact the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the issue. I think that's why he cares that he hasn't been a bigger part of the offense. And the thing that I would hope for Rudy is that Rudy takes this summer and simply focuses on footwork.
Yeah.
Focuses on the ability to dribble the ball without creating a turnover. The jump shot thing is probably past him, right? But he doesn't need a jump shot to be one of the most dominant players in the NBA. He needs the ability to finish with grace around the rim.
Yeah.
He needs touch. And to have touch, you need footwork. To be able to dribble with your back to the basket, you need to understand that your shoulders and your feet have to be in alignment.
Yes.
Like, okay, so great, basketball. But what I hope for Rudy Gobert is that he gets to a point where he just doesn't care what people think. Don't care what Skip Bayless thinks. If you are a professional athlete of any note, why on earth would you be watching Skip Bayless on social or on TV? Man, please, Rudy, tell me you are not flipping on First Take every day.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
Please tell me that you are not watching whatever the fuck the name of that Skip Bayless show
Undisputed.
is. Yeah, tell me you're not watching that show. If you're watching Inside the NBA, okay, I get that. Those are Hall of Famers.
Everybody watches
Those are
Inside the NBA.
those are well-respected players that are talking about you. You care. If you're Rudy Gobert, I 100% understand why you care what Shaquille O'Neal thinks about you.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I understand it. But go do an interview with him. Right? Go have fun with it.
Yeah.
Go dunk on him on the set of Inside the NBA. Like, go have fun with it, man.
Yeah.
That, to me, is how you should have handled this. I agree with you 100%. You should have trolled them in a way. Like, if you're going to respond, troll them. Please don't respond. If you're going to respond to Shaq, have fun with it because he'll have fun with you.
Yeah.
Shaq is not, and I agree also with, I see some of the commenters saying Shaq was 100% serious. He was 100% serious. And what needs to happen is Rudy and Shaq need to sit down, and Shaq needs to say to his face, you're overpaid and you're not worth that money. He needs to say what he has said about Rudy to Rudy, and Rudy needs to react. And they need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? And Rudy needs to say to Shaq, well, I'm making $41 million and you're not, and I would dominate you. I would shut you down. What did he say? I would lock your ass up.
I would lock your ass up.
Go say that to Shaq sitting on the set of TNT.
And I think that might be part of the perception issue with Rudy. I mean,
yes.
If you really think about it, you never see the guy unless he's on the court, getting stung in the eye, or touching all the mics in a press conference. When do you ever see Rudy?
See the problem, and I think here's why I think some of this does go back to the microphone thing. What happened when Rudy touched all those microphones?
Perception changed. Perception changed.
And what was he doing when he touched those microphones?
Fighting the media.
He was having a little fun. He was laughing, right? He would, honest to God.
I mean, maybe he was, but my point is that, like, so in that moment, to me, I'm not going to say that, well, he was just kind of joking and having fun. Sure, that's how it came off, but I'm more interested in the why he did that.
And I think, obviously, it was the wrong thing at the wrong time that
you're
ended
not advocating
really
that
poorly.
it was the right thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Rudy should have done that, or he was trying to have a little fun.
Yeah.
But he is not a comfortable English speaker, in my opinion. I think he fumbles a little bit. I think he's awkward. You're 7'1" or whatever he is. You're awkward. Your legs are longer than, most semi-trucks, right? Like, He's an awkward guy. And he is a big, deep voice guy. He was having a little fun with the media. And it went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And a lot of people blamed him. And he should not have been blamed.
The coronavirus.
But I think there's probably still a little afterthought on that. And I don't know, man. I don't know Rudy. I don't know what he thinks.
Listen, here's what I think he thinks. I think that what happens is Rudy plays a game.
Yeah.
Like for the Jazz on the floor. They play the game. He doesn't get the ball enough. He doesn't get what he thinks, in his opinion, is his fair share of opportunities on the offensive end. Then he goes down to the defensive end, and Don doesn't play good defense, or Bogey gets blown by in the corner, or X, Y, and Z happens, and Terrence Mann dunks all over him. Then he gets to the presser after the game, and he's got to deal with questions about how he's got to guard the paint and the corner, and Terrence Mann had 7 or 10 threes or whatever and posterized him. So I'm guessing for Rudy, again, this is guessing, but I'm guessing he gets frustrated with that and then loses his patience with questions and with interactions on Twitter.
And it's got to be hard to consistently be asked the same question.
Yeah.
I get it.
But he's not the only one that happens to, which is why he doesn't get that excuse. Every NBA player gets asked the same damn thing all. You think LeBron doesn't get asked the same thing all the time?
But what I can tell you is having, and I think I've told this story on the show before. So I covered the Lakers during the Kobe and Shaq years.
Yeah.
One night in the locker room, this is who Shaq is. One night in the locker room, and at that time, I was probably 100 pounds heavier than I am now. Like, I was a big guy. Shaquille O'Neal walked up behind me and picked me up and was like, damn, that's a lot of work. You're a big dude. Like, it was a funny moment. That's who he's a goof. He's fun. He is funny. He's a great interview. He's a guy you want to talk to.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good dude. Like, he's a fun guy. How would you describe Rudy Gobert? Rudy Gobert's not a guy he's not the first guy anybody wants to interview.
Yeah.
He doesn't come off as a fun guy. Frankly, I think the last 3.5 years have been very difficult for him.
Agreed.
I think NBA failure, Olympic failure, a lot of shit talking, a lot of moments that have not been kind, being asked to do things that he simply is not capable of doing on the floor.
Yep. No fault of his own, by the way.
Yeah, I just think that, and this is what I always say about Rudy, I don't dislike him. I don't know him. So it's not a personal thing to me. I look at Rudy Gobert, and I think he's being asked to do a lot of things he's not capable of doing.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of compassion and empathy for him.
Yeah.
Because I think he's in a no-win situation. The minute he put ink to paper on that $41 million a year contract,
yeah,
the microscope got much, much larger and much more intense. And that's not his fault. Nobody's saying no to that money. But this is the downside of that. And I don't know that there's a quick fix or a way out of that. I really don't.
Fucked.
Yeah, I really don't. Ruff's official said, I thought I clicked on a show from last month. Rudy. Okay, so what should we be talking about today?
First of all, welcome to the show for the first time.
No, Ruff's official's taking a week off.
Yeah, you took a week off, number one.
I would agree
So
with
you
that.
missed a week's worth of content. Go back and watch it. Number two, what else do you want us to be talking about, right?
So wait, Pistol, Stockton, Malone, D. Will, and Rudy are the best Jazz players in history. Rudy Gobert, plain and simply put, is not one of the best players in the history of the Utah Jazz. He is not. There's nobody that would agree with that. I think if you want to
Who's
send
saying that?
and Garcia, if you want to send, I'll take Mark Eaton over Rudy Gobert right now today. Right now, like you want to talk about history of the Utah Jazz. Mark Eaton was a better offensive player. Mark Eaton was an equal defensive player. It's very difficult to compare them across eras because this is a completely different day and time. Could Mark Eaton guard the 3-point line? Probably not, but Mark Eaton wasn't asked to guard the 3-point line, right? So Rudy Gobert, with all due respect, is not one of the best players in the history of the Utah Jazz. What are you talking about?
Why can't we just come out and say, hey, he's not one of the best ever. That's not who he is. Why is that so taboo or so outlandish?
And then Garcia, you're trying to spin here. He's like, Monty, have you ever touched on LeBron James firing back at Barkley? No, we don't talk Lakers on the show.
Hey, by the way, he's LeBron fucking James.
What are you talking about?
Like, dude, it's LeBron.
The thing I don't understand is that you just can't. Why can you not have a pointed discussion about Rudy Gobert? Why on earth am I going to talk about LeBron versus Barkley? We don't talk Lakers. We don't talk Cavs. We don't talk LeBron on this show. Why would I be talking about LeBron and Charles Barkley? This is primarily a Utah Jazz show. Arguably the most important figure in the current day of the Utah Jazz is Rudy Gobert. Why would I be talking about LeBron and Charles Barkley? It's amazing to me that there is no way to have an honest discussion with guys like Garcia and Ruff's official. You guys just, and it's why I told Ruff a month ago, I'm going to stop reading your comments because you say stuff that is so off the reservation. And Garcia, for you to say that Rudy Gobert belongs with Stockton and Malone
not even
is
close.
One of the most ridiculous statements you've ever read on this show.
Hey, has Rudy Gobert ever been to the Western Conference Finals?
Rudy Gobert has never won anything. And this is what I'm trying to get people to understand. If you want to have a Rudy Gobert in the history of the Jazz conversation, he's got to fucking win something first.
Yeah.
He's got to meet expectations, just a baseline expectation. He makes $41 million a year.
Yeah.
In a small market, he's making 25% of the salary cap. It's not good enough. The contract's the problem. His skill level is not the problem. The contract's the problem.
If he was getting paid $20 a year, we wouldn't be talking about this.
I don't understand this obsessive need to ignore the truth to talk about your narrative. That's not this show. Go get David Locke's podcast for that.
Yeah.
We on this show, you should know by now, and this is why, again, Ruff's official, I don't read your comments. And Garcia, I'm not going to read any more of your comments today because you say ridiculous stuff that you cannot back up.
Yeah.
This is the show that gives you the truth. Unvarnished, you don't have to like it. None of that. I don't ask you to like the stuff we talk about. This is a free country. You don't have to be here. But we're not going to do, Rudy Gobert is the best player in the history of the Utah Jazz. We're not doing that today. We're not. And maybe on a slow sports day, maybe on the day after the Major League Baseball All-Star game, we can do the 5 best players in the history of the Utah Jazz. Rudy won't be on that list. And I don't think Rudy Gobert would put himself on that list. And anybody that puts Rudy Gobert ahead of Mark Eaton has no idea what do you know who Mark Eaton was? Do you have any idea what you're talking about? That's mind-numbing to me. That is mind-numbing to me. Man, that's incredible. Who would be a good duel with Donovan Mitchell? I have
Depends
no
what kind
idea.
of basketball you want to play.
What are you trying to accomplish? What did you get in? The other thing we don't do often on this show, if you watch the show, you probably know this. We don't do fantasy land. We don't. When you're talking about guys' livelihoods, you tell the truth. We don't do, we could trade Rudy Gobert for, what if we got Jason Tatum, Steph Curry, and Giannis, and we traded Rudy Gobert for those 3 players. Okay, cool.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, let's do that. We don't do that on this show.
Yeah,
we don't. If you listen to the things we report and how we report them, we don't guess. We don't use conjecture. We report the facts, and that's primarily why we've had so much success doing that.